A very good morning or a good afternoon to all of our attendees today. Welcome to our webinar on Get the Max Out of PeopleSoft eProcurement with FSCM version 9.2 and on the latest PUM image, which is PUM 20. Before we get started, just a few administrative footnotes here. We have kept everybody on mute. The channel of communication is going to be the chat window on the top, which is the second icon right in the center of your screen. Hopefully you can identify that. Please post your questions or any concerns or queries on the chat window there. The webinar today is hosted by Astute Business Solutions. Astute has been an Oracle partner for more than 10 years now, and our pedigree is PeopleSoft. Our service offerings include 9.2 upgrades, implementations, support. We've helped a lot of them deploy Fluid across applications and across industries. We've also recently ventured into PeopleSoft on the Amazon Cloud, Oracle Public Cloud. We have our managed cloud services. We have helped several of our clients define their strategy to optimize and transform their applications. We have helped them define their roadmap to cloud and many such support services. Test automation has been one of our important arms in our service offerings. This is based on the delivered PeopleSoft test framework and our proprietary tool, which is Fastest. Today, we are going to have a session on eProcurement. We are going to see the latest enhancements in PeopleSoft eProcurement and supply chain on version 9.2 in FSCM. These latest features would include Fluid, workflow integration, self-service, and all this is going to be followed by a live demo of these features. Our presenter for the day is going to be Tushar Goel. He's our eProcurement lead, and he has over 10 years of experience in PeopleSoft Financial Suite. He's been a part of a lot of PeopleSoft Financial upgrade and implementation projects, and he has a strong experience across the life cycle of ERP development phases, including fit gap analysis and all the way up to testing. So Tushar, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Tanvi. I want to welcome all who have joined our webinar today. I'm going to take over the screen right now. I can hear. All right. So today, like Tanvi mentioned, our webinar is about PeopleSoft 9.2 eProcurement. I'm going to cover the 9.2 new features. That's the big selling point for eProcurement 9.2 and the new features that we have, especially for PUM image 20. Agenda for today, like you can see on my screen, I'm going to talk about a little bit who our audience is today. In general, about PeopleSoft eProcurement, why we should consider implementing eProcurement. PeopleSoft 9.2 eProcurement, something very specific to PeopleSoft 9.2 versus the previous versions, and in new features in PUM 20, and then we'll move over to the demo. So today's audience, we have a good mix of customers who have PeopleSoft eProcurement and they're currently using it, approximately 50% of them. Customers who have purchased eProcurement but not implemented, we have approximately 20%, and the rest who are planning to implement within the next year or a couple of months. And these are the common questions or concerns that we gathered from our webinar questionnaire, where people who have purchased but not implemented, they have concerns, questions about whether to implement the modules or not, and some hesitance on the Fluid user interface. Then the customers who currently are using eProcurement have questions on their existing features, or they are not very happy with the way the functionality in the eProcurement module works. And then there are customers who are planning to implement, and they have questions or concerns about the approval workflow or marketplace or third-party punch-out integration within the PeopleSoft ePro module. So now I'm going to start with a very high-level general introduction to eProcurement module for customers who have not used PeopleSoft eProcurement. PeopleSoft eProcurement is a web-based requisitioning tool that lets users create and submit online requisitions. This module automates the requisitioning process by bringing all the bells and whistles of a procure-to-pay function online, from filling up a request form, getting an email approval, mailing the purchase order, paper receiving, and finally paying the invoice is all done online seamlessly within this module. eProcurement module gives its users the ability to control and manage the spend by closely monitoring supply chain process that is graphically represented with current statuses and the upcoming stages. This module also enables users to integrate with third-party suppliers for content management and other PeopleSoft modules. You also get to review online and see the whole approval cycle. What's PeopleSoft 9.2 eProcurement? What's something new that it gives or provides users on the table? PeopleSoft 9.2 eProcurement is a transformation of the eProcurement module from its previous versions. A lot of new features are introduced which are also aligned with Oracle's Fluid technology strategy. Some of the high-level benefits: the ease of use with Fluid for customers who have experienced Fluid already. And I just wanted to mention here that there are very few customers who are already using Fluid technology because of the hesitance, and some customers are even scared of introducing the Fluid technology to its users. But who have already experienced, they may agree that it provides increased mobility to the application by making it device agnostic. Whether you are on a mobile phone, a tablet, or a desktop, the application web page seamlessly aligns to the screen size and the resolution. And I will show you down the line. I have some snapshots I took from my mobile device by opening up PeopleSoft application and how it aligns to the screen versus on the desktop. Then PeopleSoft 9.2 also provides secure enterprise search, which takes the requisitioning to the whole new level. And the requesters just need to search for a product or the service, and the results show exactly what they're looking for and quickly. And that also will show in the demo. Then there are supplier integrations, excellent content management options, which are provided to customers with marketplace or direct connect features, wherein the PeopleSoft eProcurement application is integrated with third-party suppliers using various technologies, integration broker, XML, or open catalog interface. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about this in the following slides. Then we also get a personalized experience where PeopleSoft allows the customers to customize the way the requisitioning homepage is shown to the users. It's all configurable, and if you can actually give the users access to whether they can configure their own homepage or not. Then finally, just overall, eProcurement is a very productive and efficient solution, which is well designed by providing searching utilities for internal catalogs, deliver integration framework for punching out to supplier catalogs, deliver workflow framework for approval notification and work list items, graphical representation of the approval chain and what approvals have or have not yet occurred, and overall supply chain process. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit more about the supplier integrations So PeopleSoft allows multiple options to integrate eProcurement with third-party suppliers. There is a direct connect feature, which further has 3 sub-features. So the first 3 I mentioned on my slide, the punch out, which is very common among ePro users, round trip, and transparent punch out. And finally, the fourth one I highlighted as a marketplace integration feature. So the direct connect feature enables you to integrate with the third-party suppliers by punch out, where punch out enables the users to interact directly with the supplier website. And most of the customers we have online must be already aware of this, that you are directed to the supplier's website. And the interaction enables you to search the supplier's online catalog and select items and add them back to your ePro requisition. And it's best suited for most of the products and services. And however, Oracle recommends you to use these for products which have high degree of configuration, such as computer hardware, and specialized services such as printing or media services. Then about the round trip, this feature also is very similar to punch out, and it allows users to browse and search a supplier's catalog, and it takes you back to the ePro requisition after you have chosen which items you want to add to your shopping cart. And after you complete a transaction, that's the only restriction here with round trip is after you complete a transaction using round trip, you can return to view your contents. However, you cannot edit your shopping cart to make changes in your order. Then we'll talk about transparent punch out, where it enables requisitioning users to retrieve items from supplier website without being transferred to a website. That's what the transparent feature of this particular transparent punch out is, that there is a transparent catalog access to the site in the background where we're using a PeopleSoft integration broker, and it returns the search results directly to PeopleSoft eProcurement. The transparent punch out feature is best suited for products with fluctuating prices or specialized catalogs such as chemical supplies. I want to talk a little bit more on the marketplace integration, and this one we picked up from customer feedback for all the registrants today. So they want to know more about marketplace integration, which is actually a feature which we define as an electronic trading community where buyers and sellers review their supplier catalogs and prices. So these catalogs are then generally downloaded by the buyers into their ePro system, and they're popular. There are already very popular marketplace suppliers, Winnemaya and Prodigo for healthcare, very commonly used marketplaces. The marketplace does enable you to review and load the latest catalogs and prices. These are the few features highlighted for marketplace integration, where you can actually have a check availability feature that lets you know before submitting an order whether the stock is currently available. There is a price check feature which gives you the latest price of an item which faces frequent price variation. It also lets you pass the purchase orders and change orders to a marketplace for suppliers to review them. And also the order status feature gives you the current status of a purchase order. These are the high-level marketplace integration features. Now I'm going to move on to the PUM 20 new features, which is a highlight of our webinar today. So I want to mention what I have on the screen. Specific to PUM 20 image for ePro module, we have 2 features which are introduced. One is the enhanced approvals, where we are given the line level approvals, and users are allowed to look at the chart field configuration and add comments or attachments to pending transactions. By pending transaction here, we mean the requisition which are pending approval transactions. Then another good feature is for multiple item images. So in our previous versions, most of the times people don't pay attention to the images, but going with 9.2, images were introduced, and right now it has been enhanced to use multiple images for a product. And I will also demo this. I'll show you. We have added multiple images and how it displays different resolutions for the same. The rest of the three highlights here are from previous PUM images. I wanted to mention that for users who are not very familiar with the PUM image strategy, if you are currently on 9.1 version of PeopleSoft or on an earlier version of PUM image, for example, you are on PUM 5, if you install PUM image 20, it's a cumulative updated PUM image, which provides all the features which were provided in previous PUM images. For example, in this case, PUM 5 through 20, all the features you will get if you just apply PUM 20. So we are talking about PUM 20. It also provides you the new landing page where we get all the browse catalog, recent orders, web suppliers, and it's all configurable. You can move around these features on the panel, and you can also see what you want to see as soon as you log into the system. There is a smart catalog using the secure enterprise search, which actually gives you the results exactly what you want and very quickly, and you can sort and filter on the search results on the categories and catalogs. And then other enhancements such as the speed charts, which are available to see on the requisition line, and the floating cart, which always shows you around while you're looking around for the items to be added to your requisition. So I also want to pay attention to fluid interface, which is again a big plus on in PeopleSoft 9.2. So I took a few screenshots here. On the left, I have my screenshots of a desktop application when I log into my PeopleSoft 9.2. And on the right, I have the mobile screenshot of the same page or component. And of course, we are going to talk more about the requisitioning tile. If you see the same, how it itself aligns to the screen size. You see the tiles move around depending on the screen size. I took more screenshots. For example, in this case, the requisition of my orders. On the left, you have all my requisitioning over there, and on the right, on my mobile screen, it compacts itself and give you very small detail of the whole my order screen. Same way for browse catalog, it shows you everything. It's just in a compact form, and I have more screenshots of my cart. Before I move on to demo, I just want to give you a more introduction to the fluid interface. Of course, we are going to talk about and see that in the demo. Fluid technology, which actually provides you which actually makes the whole thing device agnostic, whether you are on a mobile phone, tablet, or a desktop. And the way you see it aligns to the screen size and the resolution. So that's all with my PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to move on to demo, and I'm going to cover the requisitioning homepage, talk about new features, and the requisitioning life cycle, and online review and approval of the requisitioning. In my requisitioning lifecycle, I'm going to limit it to submitting and approving the requisition. I'm not going to take it to purchase orders. With that, I'm going to log in. Now, so I just logged in into my PeopleSoft 9.2 instance, financials and supply chain with PUM image 20 applied on it. And this application is on PeopleTools version 8.5.5. Fluid interface comes as default in PeopleTools 5.5. And currently what you see on my screen is the employee self-service default homepage. You can see all the tiles, various tiles that come delivered. However, we have also added, for example, in this case, I've added a buyer, and we can create our own home pages. I'll show you, we created our own home page here, Eprocurement homepage later, and you can add your own tiles. So for now, we'll go into our requisitioning homepage. So now you see on my screen is a requisitioning homepage where on the left, like I mentioned earlier, these are all my facets which come delivered, my orders, browse catalog, recently ordered items, favorites, and special requests. PeopleSoft allows you to configure what you want to see on the left panel. You can remove or add facets here. There is another delivered facet called web suppliers, which you can see once you have integrated your suppliers with third-party marketplace. Since we do not have it in our demo, it's not visible right now, but it comes as standard with PeopleSoft application. And the home page right now, so that by default I have my orders that show up. This is also configurable, what you want your requesters to see as soon as they log in into their requisitioning homepage. You can see, you can actually filter by various, it gives you a look and feel of Amazon, which I believe most of us are very familiar with. Very easy to search application, items and catalogs. I go into browse catalogs, it gives me all the different categories. If I do all items, I see all my different catalogs here. And I want to show you the new feature about searching. So in this case, I went into my hardware catalog. So I see here that we have approximately 50 rows. If I know that I want a particular item, for example, I'm going to pick up, so there are hundreds of CPUs and hundreds of different hard disks. So I want to see only my hard disk in this list of catalogs. I'm going to search here. And it shows me only the hard disks from my hardware catalog. I can filter it further down, and if you see, it shows you by manufacturer name, by suppliers, which hard disk is available from which supplier and how many of them, and whether how many are my preferred and non-preferred suppliers. All this comes standard. This is we have not made any changes in this part. That's a pretty slick feature with PeopleSoft 9.2 eProcurement, and I find this very useful that it saves a lot of time for requesters. Recently ordered items, it's pretty standard with what we have in the classic UI, but like I mentioned, the look and feel is the big part here, which makes it easy to make use of this application. Now I want to talk about the other new feature about the item images. So I use this one particular example as a thermostat item. So you see there are multiple images that are allowed in the PUM 20 image. Earlier, for one item, PeopleSoft allowed only one image to be uploaded. So now you can see I have 3 different images for the same. All right. Then the favorites and special requests. I'm going to now add a requisition. So, and I want you to note the number of clicks to create a requisition. And some customers have thousands of requesters who get requisitions, hundreds of requisitions every day. And for a back office requester to find what they're looking for and adding and submitting a requisition sometimes can be a pain. But this fluid interface makes it pretty quick and easy to operate and create a requisition and submit. So I'm looking for, I'm a requester, I log in, I search for a thermostat, search, I get one. If I have more options, it will all show over there. I choose by which supplier I want. I select, that's my click 2. After I search, I'm good with this. I'm going to add, that's my click 3 to add that item in my cart. If you see it shows notification that the item has been added to my cart. This is what we were talking about, the floating cart feature in PeopleSoft 9.2 shows you on the top every time. Even if I go back and pull up more items, it's still gonna show you my cart and how many items I have. Now, this is my click 4. I go in my cart and look for the details. I can enter requisition name. It shows my requester, currency, all the details I want, how many quantity, and that's my click 5, and I'm checking out. I can add more comments. Some of you might be wondering about the accounting information. So in this case, we have it coming through our user setup from the requester setup, as well as some come from the category setup. So that's all happening in the background, where if you want to edit that, you can by going into the details. And here you see the accounting information. If you want to review it, all the information is right here. And once you're done reviewing, you click on done. I'm going to cancel that. Cancel. Submit. And that was my click 6, by the way, on the count of requisition creation clicks. So with a 6-click submission, but pretty easy to navigate through the application, I have submitted my requisition. This was a pre-approved based on the amount. I'm going to create a quick requisition so that we can go through the approval cycle as well. I'm going to pick up the laptop, special request of that. This home page. So I just submitted this requisition, and we see here that we have this in pending approval. We can see the approvals by clicking on that. So right now I see that my requisition is pending with my manager here, and I'm going to log out and log in as my manager, so my manager also has their own tiles. They can see approvals, requisitions. So if I go to my approval tile, he can see on the left the facets. It shows him what are the pending approvals. There are approvals pending for expense reports, journal entry, purchase order, and requisitions. So I can filter by that, or I can see all the pending approvals right here. So for my requisitions, so today is the 8th. I submitted for a 2250 requisition. If you see, if you are a manager who get hundreds of requests or tens of hundreds of requests every day, you can do a mass approval or deny, or you can do individual approval or deny. So right now we have this requisition headed to my manager, add comment. You can see the approval chain. That's what the new feature was in PeopleSoft eProcurement module, where you get the graphical representation of the approval cycle, and it shows you. So currently we only have one supervisor level approval, so it's pretty straightforward here, but customers have financial approvals, department level approval, or amount level approval. All of that can be seen with different stages at the approval chain. And this manager has access to edit the requisition. He can do it via here, make more changes, or send back and provide more comments. And I'm going to approve this requisition, any comments I want to provide, and finally I approve that request. So that was the whole cycle from submitting of a requisition to finally submitting it to my manager, and my manager going in and submitting the approval. I'm going to log back in as myself here. And now I want to talk about a different homepage I mentioned earlier. So we created a homepage, and customers can create their own homepage and give access to their users. Right now we have this eProcurement homepage where I added a tile for requisition. I'm a buyer. I have a special tile for this, give access to specific features my buyer should have access to. We can see approvals here. We can have reports. Like you see here, for this user whom I'm logged in as, I have requisition line level amounts, what are pending by business unit, because I have access to all these business units. That's why I see all these different level amounts. It can show me what's the quantity, and this is not just it. They can be much more details. And as soon as I click on that report, it gives me a graphical representation and more details on what's pending with me or what I'm involved with. A lot of good features, allows you to modify different views and so on. Now coming back to this, and I just wanted to show you, for example, the buyer tile. It directly takes me to the managed requisition approval. I'm a buyer. I want to see all my approvals. But if you notice, this is all configurable, and these can be changed. All the facets on the left navigation panel, this all can be configured. And of course, security is involved here, where what access you want to give to this particular users, it decides what you see or what your users see on the screen. And yeah, and then I go back to my employee self-service. So yeah, that's my homepage. I have talked about configuring the left navigation panel, which you see over here, the left navigation panel. This can be configured, and I want to show you, we are administer procurement for people who are familiar with eProcurement module. and this is how I navigate to different pages. Go through navigator, eProcurement, administer procurement, just like we do classic UI. And now it will take me to classic UI and maintain overall system options. This is more of a PeopleSoft admin functionality, but I just wanted to show that it's how easy it is to configure what you see on the screen. Eprocurement, requisition, navigation. And there's no development or coding involved. You just go to what I see on my Fluid UI. So if you remember on my home screen, I used to see my orders on the initial page. I just select whatever I want, catalog recently ordered. For in this case, I want to see catalog. As soon as I log in my application, I want to see the catalog show up expanded. I just hit save, and I go back to my Fluid homepage. I click on my requisition, and if you remember earlier, the default that showed up here was my orders, but right now it comes as browse catalog. This is a small feature to look at right now, but it have a big impact when you are talking about thousands of requesters, and to save them time or save the number of clicks, what you want them to see as soon as they log in. So that's where it has a huge impact on time and money at that time. So that's pretty much on my demonstration for today. I'm going to now take up some questions. I request our registrants or the attendees to post questions on the chat window. We have got many questions, and I'm going to answer whatever I can within the time we have. So we have a question about workflow. The customers are having issues with maintaining the workflow. Some of them say it's very tedious with people leaving the company or down the line organization changes. In that case, I would suggest that you cannot stop that from happening. However, to reduce the workflow maintenance, we should make use of user lists and route controls to the max, and sometimes create SQL definitions where we are using role-based users instead of specific users. So that helps reduce maintenance to a certain level. But again, depending on how the workflow is configured, the configuration can be looked at, and there is always a way to reduce the amount of maintenance on the workflow configuration. We have another question on Fluid interface. Any use cases? Any use cases for ePro? Yes, there are many use cases, but I also want to mention that there are very few customers from our registrants also who are using Fluid interface, just a handful of them, and most of our customers have not implemented Fluid or disabled it. I would say the best suitable use case for Fluid in ePro module is like all the users who use ePro. It could be an executive user, mostly working on mobile approvals. That's what when I showed that how easy the screen adjusts or the application adjusts to the screen size, that makes it easier to review and go through the approvals for requisitions. It could be a self-service user also, where it makes them easy for them to, submit or edit their requisitions by reducing the number of clicks. We have more questions here. Let's see. There are many questions. I'm going to go through some of them. And there are some questions that I may not be able to answer right now. So we take all the questions and we get back with our registrants with the answers to those questions. So, for example, there's a question: what if a requester has multiple business units that they order for, and where do they select the business unit? So this is actually a requester user preferences setup, or the requester setup. The way the requester themselves may not have access to modify this or actually select a business unit. The setup needs to be changed, and that, I believe, can be done by either your PeopleSoft admin or the business analyst, whoever has access to the configuration change under setup financials. So they need to leave it open for that particular requester. Most probably this particular requester might be having the business unit defined in there. If you leave it open, it will allow that requester to enter a business unit while creating a requisition. I'm going through other questions. I want to mention again that there are some questions I may not be able to answer today, so we are taking all the questions into saving all the questions, and we will be posting a FAQ after our webinar with solution, and we will be following up with all our registrants with the solution. So there is a question about whether the ePro module in 9.2 PUM 20 is completely converted from Classic to Fluid. It's not. It's not that it's converted. There is Classic available to everybody. If you want to use ePro module in Classic, you can still do it, and there is availability of Fluid. It's just that the Fluid in 855 tools comes as default, and it can be disabled. However, like I mentioned earlier, that Oracle strategy is to encourage customers to use Fluid because of the ease of use, as well as it reduces the number of clicks in every transaction. And I can show you on the screen that how you can still go ahead and use Classic if you have to. However, I'm also not inclined towards using a Classic when I see using the requisitioning tool in Fluid. So if you see on the right corner nav bar, you can click on Classic Home, and it will take you to the Classic page. However, if I want to use different features within the ePro module, I can still go via Navigator. I was in ePro module. I can show you. I go back in Eprocurement module here, and you see all those menu items which you see in Classic menu. Some of these menu items may not have a Fluid interface delivered with PeopleSoft application, which PeopleSoft leaves it to its customers to come up with, or in future PUM updates, they are going to deliver as many menu items in Fluid as they can, and they are adding more and more of classic menus into Fluid interface. So right now, when I went into administer procurement, it takes me to the classic interface. But eventually, they are all going to go into Fluid interface. So there was a question about on our demo how much percentage has been customized. I wanted to remind everybody that this is our demo instance, which is 0% customized. I added a new homepage, the eProcurement homepage, which is the only thing that I created, but I don't consider this as customization. This is my own user homepage. I have access to add new homepage or edit it, so I did it, but this will not be visible to my other user. So that's not a customization. But apart from that, there is no other customization. The feature or the flow I showed, that's all delivered. Every customer who is on or planning to implement PUM 20, they will see what we showed on the demo today. There was another question that can we save a requisition without submitting it for approval? Yes, that can be done, and I can show you real quick. So if you go to a requisition, let me pull up. Thermostat is my favorite. I add that in my cart. I open up my cart. I check out. And here you see the option of save or submit. And I can save the requisition right there. And the status shows as open, and it's not in pending. By pending, it means it's pending approval. But it's open, that means it's not submitted yet. Okay. There's another question on a special requisition, what are the required fields? So currently, if you see my screen, there are the item description. If there is an item that does not exist in your catalog list, you want to request, you have to enter it. In this case, my sample of table mat, and the price, the quantity, what category it falls under, the currency, which most of the times comes as default, the unit of measure, mostly each, the due date. If you have a supplier, preferred supplier. Otherwise, if you don't mention it, it comes from the category. Most of the setups in the category setup have the preferred suppliers, and any other these are the only, if you see on the screen right now, the asterisk fields, those are the only mandatory fields. The rest is all optional, and then you can add it. There's another question on, do all of the fields such as the accounting have to be correct before you save the requisition? The combo edits are the chart view combinations. It's all based on how your chart view combinations have been designed. PeopleSoft will not allow you to save a requisition if it has invalid combinations. That's one. Second option is if you don't have not entering a correct chart field information that will not allow you to save as well. So the answer to that question is yes, all the fields have to be correct, and the combinations have to be correct if you have enabled edit combinations at the module level. Okay. There's another question on how would an initial approver send back the requisition? Is there a way to do without deny, like pushback? There is a feature that allows you to push back the requisition. It's the way your workflow is configured. But yes, you can do a pushback as well as deny. It's based on the configuration. The demo I gave on it had a deny and approve. It did not show a pushback. So I believe I went through all the questions that I could answer in today's webinar. I really appreciate all the questions that coming through. We tried answering some questions through our moderator in the chat window. However, there are some questions I may not be able to answer right now, but we really thank you for all the questions. We are taking a note of these questions. We are going to post answers to these questions and share it with all the registrants of the webinar today. So I want to finish the webinar with a thanks again to all the registrants, and please look forward for an email from Astute on the FAQ for the questions that you have asked and the answers to that, and more details on how Astute Business Solutions can help with your ePro module requirements. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.